Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're taking a look at the top 5 best Wonderkids who can play in the advanced forward role and who will cost you under 20 million in Football Manager 24. This list is based on stats that Football Manager gives you, and I've also taken the attributes of the player, put them into an Excel sheet to calculate how good they are for the advanced forward role. If you're also curious about how you can decide how good a player is in a certain role in Football Manager, go ahead and click the link in the description below. It will lead to a video where I explain how you can start playing Football Manager based on data. With that out of the way, let's jump straight into player number 5. Say hello to Israeli Wonderkid playing for Red Bull Salzburg in the Austrian division, Oskar Gluk, and I might be totally butchering that name. In the advanced forward role and on a scale from 1 to 20, Oskar Gluk is a 12.6. That means if we take the average of his attributes, when counting the green ones a little bit more than the blue ones, we get a rating of 12.6. I will also give this rating for the other players on this list. Oskar's potential ability is 150 to 180, which means with 150 he's a rotational player for any good Premier League side, and with 180 he is a global superstar. While looking at his hidden attributes, you'll see he is a model pro with also 5 injury proneness, which means this guy doesn't get injured anytime soon and he is able to play a lot of games in a row. When you develop this Wonderkid and he reaches the low end of his potential, he will look something like this. But let me show you what he can look like if he gets the potential of 180 in your save, which will make him look something like this. As you can see, 18 first touch, 17 dribbling, passing and technique, with insane physicals and very well-rounded mentals. As you can see, there's only 2 12s and 2 lower attributes there, but he doesn't need them in those attacking positions. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's jump into number 4, which is a Argentinian Wonderkid named... Hey! 93.5% of you are not subscribed to my channel yet. Please do consider subscribing, as it really helps me out a ton and it keeps me motivated to make more awesome content. With that out of the way, let's move on to the video. Valentine Caboni, playing for Inter, can play anywhere on the pitch and is currently out on loan at Brianza. There's 2 downsides to this player. One of them is that he is currently out on loan, so you can't get him in the first season, and his second downside is that he only has a potential of 140 to 170. That means if he turns out to be a 140, he isn't going to be world class, he's just going to be a rotational player for any Premier League side, and 170 means once again that he's going to be a very good player. But the reason Valentine Caboni actually makes this list is because for the advanced forward position, he is a 13.4 on a scale from 1 to 20, which means he's the second best player on this list. So it doesn't even matter that his potential ability is so low, but because this guy already has 14 dribbling, finishing, first touch, passing and 15 technique, it means that this guy is already insane for that advanced forward position. Taking a look at his hidden attributes, you'll see 18 adaptability with 14 versatility, which means he can play in any position in any nation that he wants. 14 professionalism and 19 temperament, which means this guy will never get angry and will always stay calm. If you're playing a save where Caboni reaches the minimal of 140 potential, he could look something like this, which is already very good, but when he reaches the potential in your game of 170, he will look something like this, an absolute monster of a Wonderkid. You can pick him up for 10 to 40 million, but I think after his loan he might be a little bit more expensive. However, the next player on this list is going to be a lot cheaper for you and is going to be a player which you can get immediately into your team. That player is French attacker Junior Kroppi, currently contracted at FC Lorient, and you can pick this guy up for 6.6 million with some installments. What kind of player are you getting for that kind of money? You're getting a player with a potential of 150 to 180, with 150 being that he's a very good player which you can sell on for profit later on, and 180 meaning he's going to be world class and will never leave your team. On a scale from 1 to 20, this guy is 12.7, which means he's one of the best 17-year-olds in the advanced forward role. As for his hidden attributes, he's not good, not bad, just very bang average on all of them. When Krupi gets given the 180 potential in the game, he will look something like this. 6.6 million for a player who could potentially be this good is a no-brainer. Go ahead and bring him into your team as soon as you can. Before we jump into the top 2, this is the honorable mention for this video. Willard Swaberg, 80 million from Vigo, Swedish all-around player, can play in almost any position and is very versatile. He will cost you 80 million and you'll get a potential of 140 to 170, which isn't very high, but because he's so versatile, you can almost play him in any position on the field. So if you can sign him on a free or on a very cheap deal, go ahead and bring him in because he's really not a player you want to miss. Another player you don't want to miss is number 2 on this list, and his name is Andreas Holsten, on loan from Benfica to FC Noordjylland, but a very good player indeed. On a scale from 1 to 20, this guy is the highest we've seen in this video with a 13.6, but he's also going to cost you a lot. And he's currently out on loan, so that's what doesn't make him the number 1. Anyway, Andreas has a potential ability of 160 to 169, which means in any save he's going to be a world-class player for any team. For his hidden attributes, you'll see it's quite mixed. Controversy low, important matches low, which means he doesn't really perform when he needs to, but on the other hand he does have 16 professionalism and 15 ambition, which means that this guy is kinda the model pro, but he can't really perform in high pressure situations. Because his potential ability is so close together, this is what he will look like in almost every save you play him in. A very good player, especially on the wings, but in the advanced forward position he could also be very good for you. With that out of the way, let's move into player number 1, and this player will absolutely blow your mind. Number 1 on this list of Wonderkids is Karim Konate, playing once again for Red Bull Salzburg, and they have really been producing a lot of talented youngsters through the years. You can immediately see why this guy is so good. Physically a beast, 17 acceleration, 16 agility and 15 pace, which means he's already on top level when it comes to his physicals. Mentally well rounded, but could still improve, and technically very good. He only misses a little bit of passing, which is trainable, so that's not a big deal. Other than that, this guy has the perfectionist personality, which means that he will almost perform very well. Another positive of this player is that he has the perfectionist personality, which means that he will almost always reach the potential that the game gives to him. Then for his hidden attributes, 15 ambition, 14 professionalism and 13 sportsmanship, which means that this guy is a model pro. Other than that, you'll see 7 versatility, which means he isn't really going to be able to play in any other positions, but 7 injury proneness, which means this guy will almost never be injured, so he will always be there for your big games. In every game of Football Manager you start, this guy has a potential of 150 to 180, which means that he will get assigned a number somewhere around that range. Other than that, in the advanced forward role, he has a 13.1 on a scale from 1 to 20, which means he's the 3rd best player on this list. When Konate reaches the lower end of his potential, which is around 150, he could look something like this, but also this guy can reach the potential of 180. So let me just quickly also show you what kind of beast this guy would be if he reaches that potential. Karim Konate, the Wonderkid, looks something like this with 180 potential. Bring him in for 20 million, play him in some games. He's already a starter for most Premier League sides, or just play him as a backup so he can get some playing time, bring him in or loan him out. But 20 million for a player of this quality is a absolute steal. If you have any suggestions of what players you'd like to see next, please leave them down in the description and I will always take a look at them. I want to thank you for watching, I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next video.